Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Francis Entertainment Center. The next stories today are Pressure and the Smoking Peanut. Enjoy the video. Sandy and SpongeBob are peacefully watching the clouds. While they relax, they discuss hypothetically climbing the nearby coral cliff, until they each casually mention that they would obviously win anyway, due to their respective land and sea-based abilities. They decide to have a race, and Sandy takes a head start. Despite his efforts to catch up, SpongeBob loses. He challenges Sandy to another race to the Krusty Krab, taking the same head start as Sandy and winning. Upset at SpongeBob's victory, Sandy boasts of the superiority of land creatures to sea creatures, listing the many skills and abilities that she claims sea creatures lack. SpongeBob, joined by Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs, point out things that Sandy cannot do, such as breathing underwater. She then decides to tear off her suit and shatter her helmet to prove it, but the strain proves too much, forcing her to use a pickle jar as a makeshift air helmet. To settle the issue, Sandy challenges the group to the reverse, going up on dry land for 1 minute, which they declare an easy feat. But when reaching the shore of the local island, they lose confidence. Unwilling to let her win, they resolve to charge up to the surface and end up finding the land enjoyable. They even take the time to chat up a pair of native seagulls. After the minute passes, Sandy lets go of her pride and heads up to congratulate the group, but to her horror, finds them being chased and mauled by the seagulls and attacks the birds to save them. Back on the ocean floor, the two sides come to the realization that everyone, land and sea creature alike, is good at something, even if no one is good at everything. SpongeBob and Sandy apologize to each other. SpongeBob for making Sandy a laughingstock, and Sandy for daring the others to go on to dry land. And the group gives a cheer in honor of feeling sorry for themselves. Meanwhile, the now defeated and plucked seagulls, in a sorry state of their own, half-heartedly join in the cheer. It's the annual free day at the Bikini Bottom Zoo, and Mr. Krabs helps himself to anything he can get his claws on. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Patrick go to Oyster Stadium to see Clamu, the giant oyster, perform tricks. Unfortunately, as they enter the arena, they find Clamu is sleeping. Patrick prepares to leave, but SpongeBob tries to wake Clamu up by throwing a peanut at her, followed by her wailing loudly. SpongeBob calls Patrick back in anticipation of the show, only for Clamu to cause mayhem and thrash around and attack the zookeepers, crying inconsolably all the while. After being questioned by a zoo attendant, SpongeBob and Patrick leave the park, feeling deeply guilty. SpongeBob believes he's responsible for the incident. Meanwhile, Patrick resolves to investigate the crime and uncover the cause of Clamu's distress. At home, SpongeBob tries to console himself, thinking the incident will soon be over. However, his hopes are dashed when he turns on the TV to find the oyster incident dominating the news. The realistic fish head reports that Clamu's sobs are so powerful that they can be heard across the globe, even above the ocean's surface. With his guilt growing, SpongeBob goes to Squidward and Sandy for advice. But just like Patrick, both are concerned with finding and punishing the culprit. To make matters worse, Patrick reveals that he found an incriminating bag of peanuts left near SpongeBob's home, seeing that he is getting close to solving the mystery. Eventually, policemen enter SpongeBob's house and question him on the incident. SpongeBob admits to everything they ask him, but instead of arresting him, they conclude from their evidence that Patrick is falsely the culprit and drive away with him. SpongeBob is shocked at what has happened to his friend and dashes after the car. Patrick is taken to Oyster Stadium, where he is chained to a platform in the middle of Clamu's enclosure and vengefully pelted with peanuts by the angry audience for his supposed crime. Unwilling to let Patrick take the blame, SpongeBob arrives at the stadium and asks everyone to stop. He finally confesses to having thrown the peanut, apologizing to Clamu, Patrick, and the people of Bikini Bottom. The fish in the audience, upon hearing this confession, refuse to accept his apology. Somehow, concluding that he is merely Patrick's accomplice, they decide to throw peanuts at both of them, but before they can, Zookeeper stops them, announcing that he has captured the real culprit, Mr. Krabs, much to SpongeBob, Patrick, and everyone else's shock. The zookeeper also reveals the true cause of Clamu's distress was not the thrown peanut, but that Mr. Crab stole her pearl while she was asleep from last night. The peanut only made her wake up and notice that her pearl was nowhere to be seen. The zookeeper returns the pearl to Clamu. To everyone's surprise, the pearl turns out to be an egg, hatching into a baby oyster. Having been reunited with her offspring, Clamu is finally happy again. The truth of the case finally revealed. SpongeBob and Patrick's names are clear. The crowd is moved by the touching scene before angrily glaring at Mr. Krabs for stealing Clamu's offspring and his greedy actions, rather than admitting what he did was wrong. Mr. Krabs makes a pathetic excuse at his free day, and he is promptly buried in a pile of peanuts the audience throws at him, much to his discomfort.